To our top story tonight, protests planned across the country tomorrow. They're called No King's Day.
So these protests include at least 9 across northeast Florida and southeast Georgia, opposing President Trump and his administration. But comments from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis about protesters have really deepened the divide across the state.
Those comments follow nationwide protests earlier this week. Thousands of people marching across the country to protest ICE raids. Some of those protests in cities such as Los Angeles and Chicago have seen clashes between demonstrators and law enforcement officials, with President Trump sending the National Guard to intervene in L.A.
Jessica Clark joins us now live. And Jess, Governor DeSantis spoke yesterday about what people can do to protesters.
That's right. And he couched it in a way in which it sounds like he is citing a law on the books. But it's drawing a lot of criticism from folks who say he's drumming up tension.
I protest because I think it's important for folks to stand up for what they believe in.
Tyra Smoody of Jacksonville is with Indivisible Jacks Riverside. It's a group organizing one of the No King's Day protests in Jacksonville Saturday. She was not happy to hear Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' comments on a podcast earlier this week on the Rubin Report.
And we also have a policy that if you're driving on one of those streets and a mob comes and surrounds your vehicle and threatens you, you have a right to flee for your safety. And so if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for impinging on you.
He's encouraging bad behavior. He is way out of line, and he's going out of his way to intimidate us.
Representative Angie Nixon says she feels DeSantis is provoking violence.
He's simply he's throwing gasoline. He's trying to light a match and throw gasoline at the same time.
DeSantis' comments about hitting protesters if they threaten you come amidst the protest in L.A. over ICE raids. While mostly peaceful, some of those California protesters turned to violence. Florida Attorney General James Utmeyer said this Thursday.
We want to put the public on notice in Florida and remind everybody, we have a law that says you cannot riot. We have enhanced penalties. If you engage in this behavior in Florida, you will do time.
The Brevard County Sheriff took it further at the same news conference.
If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead.
Friday, DeSantis' office sent us this statement from him in which he said, let me be clear, obstructing roadways and threatening innocent bystanders is illegal. This is not an opinion, it's the law. The Brevard County Sheriff says he supports peaceful protest, and that's what many social justice leaders, such as Smoody, say are the plans for Saturday's No King's Day protest. But she and others do not appreciate the language they say is intimidating.
I would like folks to feel safe and assured. I know there's some inflammatory language going on out there, but we are within our rights. We're going to be on public land, on the sidewalk, following every single rule of law.
We did reach out to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office to find out if they wanted to comment on what DeSantis said earlier in the week. And this is the statement they sent us. This is the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is well prepared for Saturday's planned protest. Our agency supports and respects Americans' constitutional right to peacefully protest. However, any conduct outside of the law will not be tolerated so that JSO can provide for the safety and security of all Jacksonville citizens. And that's the latest from here along the riverbank in Jacksonville. Jessica Clark, First Coast News, on your side.
Thank you, Jessica. First Coast News will continue to follow tomorrow's planned protest on air and online. To read more about how law enforcement officials across Florida are preparing, you can search for this story right now on firstcoastnews.com and also on our First Coast News app.